Every time you think the week at Ibrox might finally settle down, something else erupts behind the scenes and shifts the whole atmosphere inside the club. And these last few days have been exactly like that, full of strong movement, heavy decisions, and a real sense of reconstruction taking over the place. The departure of Kevin Thelwell opened a massive space inside the football department, and the board wasted no time beginning the reshaping process. It was not a light call, and it certainly was not one of those impulsive reactions, but the kind of change that signals a brand new chapter, especially after a spell that left plenty of folk uneasy. What makes everything even more intriguing is that even though the change is still fresh, you can already feel who is gaining momentum to step into that crucial role. Whoever takes charge of the club's sporting structure will shape the direction of the next years, because the last season made it very clear that Rangers cannot afford mistakes behind the scenes if they want a competitive and stable long-term project. And when a name starts floating around that seems to appeal to people both inside and outside the club, it is only natural for the supporters to begin imagining what this new era might look like. At the same time, Andrew Kavanagh also moved to clarify something that was on everyone's mind ever since Thelwell left. What happens with Robbie, who had been brought in recently to work on player recruitment? There was a fair bit of worry, since a change of leadership always brings doubt about who stays, who moves on, and how the structure continues to function. But the chairman made his stance clear, explaining that no one is automatically out. Every professional will have the chance to prove their worth, as long as they fit the high-performance mentality he wants running through every single area of the club. And when he spoke about the departures of the former sporting director and the chief executive, you could tell this was a decision shaped over the course of the last 6 months. He was not looking for villains nor trying to throw blame on anyone. In fact, he acknowledged the work they delivered, while also pointing out that the club now requires different profiles. It is the kind of decision a big club must take when it realizes that its long-term plan is no longer fully aligned with the people in charge. In the middle of all this, the name that surged as the early favorite to lead the football department was David Weir. And honestly, it is not a shock. He knows Rangers, he knows high-level football, he has worked inside well-structured clubs and brings a background that pleases a lot of people. What adds even more curiosity is that he only just accepted a major role in French football, which leaves things in a cloud of expectation as supporters wonder what might unfold next. Even so, the very possibility already sparked imagination among the fans, who recognize how a figure like him could restore stability, identity, and a sharper approach to the market. And while the club moves, pieces behind the scenes, the story on the pitch is also beginning to shift, especially after that tight match against Livingston. It was tense, it was far from comfortable, but it also brought forward a player who is starting to shine, Manny Fernandez. The young defender arrived in the summer full of expectation, but also carrying the weight of stepping up a level. At first, he found himself pushed to the side, battling for minutes and waiting for a proper chance to show himself. But football loves a twist, and injuries in the defense opened the door he had been waiting for. The impressive thing is that he did not waste a single second of it. In the match, he showed personality, rose above everyone to score from a set piece, and left a clear message that he is ready to fight for his spot. After the game, he spoke with confidence, acknowledging how fierce the competition is, but making it clear he is prepared to push. He knows talent alone is not enough. He needs consistency, hard training, and the calmness to grow step by step. His approach with the new head coach also shows maturity. He went in, spoke openly about his frustration with the lack of minutes, listened to what needed improvement, and came back determined to prove he deserves his chance. That kind of attitude shows he is not at the club to make up numbers. He wants to build something meaningful to cement his place, and he understands that the next run of games could shape his future inside the team. Another big element in his rise was the arrival of Scott Fry, the new set-piece coach. In only a short time, the team already looks sharper and more inventive on dead ball routines. The move that led to Fernandez's goal was rehearsed, planned, and executed with precision. And when a centre-back says that there are not many people capable of stopping him inside the box, you can feel how confidence is beginning to flow through him. He took advantage not just of the delivery, but of the moment, and that can be decisive in the competitions ahead more than the goal. What became clear is that he is starting to grasp the rhythm of the team, the pace of Scottish football, and the demands that come with playing at Rangers. Even while admitting he still has lapses to iron out, he displayed progression, physical presence, and strong defensive reading. Above all, the patience he showed while adapting to the club is beginning to pay off. And with a European match approaching, he has already made it obvious that he is eager to seize the moment if he gets it. He is not hiding his excitement at the chance of making his continental debut and showing he can be part of the club's long-term core. For him, this is the kind of opportunity that shapes careers and creates memories, and supporters always connect with that kind of ambition, especially when it comes from someone so young. When you look at everything swirling around Ibrox just now, it feels like the club is standing right on the edge of a shift that could define the next chapter. And while the board works to secure the right leadership off the pitch, the players are having to adapt to this new energy on the inside. There is a sense that no one can afford to switch off, because every training session, every minute on the pitch, and every detail in preparation matters more than ever. It is almost as if the whole environment has tightened, with everyone sensing that change brings opportunity but also brings scrutiny. And that combination always forces a higher standard. Inside the squad, this is creating a very particular atmosphere. Some players feel revitalized, knowing that new eyes might rate their qualities differently from the old regime. Others feel a bit of pressure creeping in, trying to make sure their place is not questioned during this transition. And that tension is healthy in a football environment when channeled the right way. You can already see a few lads stepping up, taking more responsibility, and trying to show leadership, especially in the middle of the park where the team has needed more presence and composure during difficult spells. One of the biggest areas where the squad has felt the weight of expectation is the defensive line. With injuries piling up, the back four has been shuffled more times than the team would have liked, and it is never easy to find stability when the partnerships keep changing. But even with all the rotation, there is a sense of resilience building. Younger players are being thrown into situations far quicker than planned, and instead of shrinking under the pressure, they are showing personality. That resilience matters, especially for a group that knows the margin for error in the league is tiny, and you can sense that the coaching staff is trying to simplify things for the back line, taking some of the chaos out of their decision-making. That is where the introduction of a dedicated set-piece coach becomes more than just an extra voice. It brings structure, it brings routine, it brings small habits that can turn shaky moments into confident ones. You could see that difference against Livingston, not just in the attacking routine that led to the opening goal, but in how the team defended their own box. Clear communication, better organization, and a stronger first contact made a massive difference. Another thing that is becoming more noticeable is how the players are reacting to the stadium atmosphere. The support has been demanding, sometimes loud, sometimes frustrated, but that is what comes with representing Rangers. And in games where the team struggles to control possession or lets the tempo drop, you can feel the energy shift inside the ground. That is why players like Fernandes, who bring intensity and aggression, end up connecting so well with the support. Rangers thrive when the team plays with edge, with authority, with the kind of presence that forces opponents backwards. When a player shows he is willing to fight for every ball, the crowd picks up on that instantly. As for the midfield, it remains one of the biggest talking points of the season. The balance has not always been there, and the lack of continuity in the lineup has made it harder to build rhythm. But in the last few matches, you can see small adjustments appearing. There is more discipline off the ball, more willingness to press as a unit instead of 3 or 4 players stepping out on their own. And that collective movement is crucial because the front line has struggled at times to create chances from open play, which makes it even more important that the team wins possession higher up the pitch. One thing the new coaching approach seems to be adding is a far greater focus on transitions. Instead of building slowly from the back, there has been more emphasis on hitting the attacking players early when the ball is recovered. It is not about launching long balls, but about playing with purpose, with verticality, with the sort of direct thinking that catches teams off guard. That shift is helping the forwards get more involved, especially the wide players who feed off space and movement. Speaking of the attack, there is a lot expected from the front three in the coming weeks. Injuries have disrupted their rhythm, but the team needs goals from multiple sources, and it cannot rely on set pieces alone to carry them through. Players who were signed in the summer with big expectation are being watched closely by the support, and fair enough. Rangers fans want immediate impact, not long-term promises. But what is interesting is how some of these forward players seem to be adjusting better now that the structure behind them is slowly stabilizing. When the midfield protects the ball better and the back line holds shape, the attackers get more freedom to play closer to goal instead of chasing back all match. That is why the next European match feels so crucial for the squad. Continental games have a different rhythm, a different intensity, and a different kind of pressure. For younger players like Fernandes, it is a chance to show they can handle a platform that demands concentration and confidence. For the more experienced ones, it is an opportunity to set the tone for the rest of the season and show leadership on a night that could define the momentum heading forward. And as the coaching staff works to refine the tactical side, the players are responding well to the increased communication. You hear stories from the training ground that sessions are more detailed, more demanding, and more structured than they were just a few weeks ago. Players are being asked to take more responsibility in understanding their roles, not just relying on instinct. That extra level of detail is something that has been missing, especially in matches where small errors cost the team control. One of the biggest shifts has been the demand for cleaner build-up play under pressure. The team struggled earlier in the season when opponents pressed aggressively, often losing possession in dangerous areas. But now there is more emphasis on using the goalkeeper as part of the structure, spreading the opposition press and opening passing lanes. It is not perfect yet, but you can see progress in how comfortable the defenders are becoming in possession. Meanwhile, the board's activity off the pitch adds another layer of intensity to the atmosphere at the training ground. Players know that when a new sporting director arrives, assessments begin immediately. Every scout, every analyst, every coach, and every player goes under the microscope, and that can either push a squad into panic or sharpen its competitive edge. From what you can sense at Ibrox right now, it feels much more like the latter. There is urgency, but not chaos. There is pressure, but also opportunity. And the players who embrace that are the ones who will shape the identity of this new chapter. As the rebuild continues, there's also a growing expectation that January will bring important decisions. But for now, the team needs to focus on carrying the momentum of recent performances into the coming run of fixtures, because while the situation still feels fragile, the foundations of improvement are definitely being laid. And within a club like Rangers, once those foundations start to settle, the supporters can feel it. They start to believe again. They start to lift the team. And that is when Ibrox becomes a completely different place. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. The chatter round Govan has taken a wild turn, with folk whispering that the Rangers dressing room is hotter than a fry-up griddle. Word drifting out of Ibrox suggests the club's top striker has fired what amounts to an ultimatum after rumours surfaced that Lawrence Shankland might be edging closer to a move across the M8. And if the murmur is true, the mood inside the squad is far from calm. According to voices close enough to hear the boots clatter, the Rangers talisman is said to be furious at the mere suggestion of Shankland being lined up as the next big arrival. The notion of sharing the spotlight, or worse, the starting role, seems to have pricked his pride in a way that can't be ignored. Some insiders claim he's told the higher-ups that if the club presses ahead while attempts to bring in the Hearts captain, he'll be asking for the door faster than a winger bursting down the flank. It's all unconfirmed, of course. The sort of rumour that slinks through corridors and pub corners, growing legs while every retelling. Yet the tension feels real enough. Supporters outside the training ground swear they've sensed a strange hush, like the squad's holding its breath, waiting to see whether the rumour fizzles out or erupts into something that can't be swept under the rug. Shankland's name alone brings heat. He's a proven scorer, a leader, and a player who commands respect in every ground he steps on. For some, he'd be a natural fit. For others, especially those who see themselves as the main man in front of goal, his arrival might look dangerously like a threat. For now, the club keeps its lips sealed, offering neither denial nor confirmation, but the rumour keeps rolling, gathering steam like the subway rattling under the Clyde. If the dressing room truly is as fiery as folk are saying, the next move, or lack of it, could shape more than just transfer chatter. It could shape who stays, who goes, and who ends up carrying the badge when the noise dies down. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned,